Welcome to the Firebelly Social Show. We're focused on talking to food and beverage brands that are on a mission to make the world better.
Hey everyone, Duncan here with Arnell, and please be very welcome to the Firebelly Social Show, where we focus on founders of mission-driven food and beverage brands. And let me say we have a damn good time doing it. So, hey Arnell, what's up?
What's up, Duncan? And thanks everyone for tuning in to this latest episode of the Firebelly Social Show. Today we have a great show lined up for you today, talking with Matt Oscamou, co-founder of Weller. This episode is brought to you today by Firebelly Marketing. At Firebelly, we help mission-driven food and beverage brands bring people closer through social media marketing. So if you're ready to use social media to create more community and excitement around your food and beverage brand, go to firebellymarketing.com to learn more.
You know, everyone, I'm so excited to welcome Matt from Weller today. Matt, he's one of the co-founders, and Weller is one of the top hemp CBD brands when it comes to functional beverages in the country. And Matt, we were just talking about how it's funny that in 6 years they're an elder statesman in the space, but I am so geeked out about functional beverages. So Matt, please be very welcome.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate you guys having me. It's a pleasure.
Well, let's start out by just talking about how did the journey start and what inspired you to get involved in this field?
Yeah, so, before starting Weller, I had founded another company called Frontier Snacks and really got my feet wet in the healthy snack food industry. We distributed product across the country, and I actually had transitioned from a 10-year career as a civil engineer into this food and beverage space, right? So totally different, but really, it's all about solving problems. So I really got going there. And back in 2017, my business partner, John Simmons, and he had started another company called Third Street Chai, and ran that for a long time. And so, John and I were both at this transition point where we had opportunities to start something totally new. And at that time, cannabis and hemp were a really interesting category because it was early days, right? So there were either really stoner brands, I'll say, and products that were just really focused on, not the health attributes, not the natural product space, and not just kind of the general wellness aspects of these products. So, we saw a really unique opportunity to leverage our skills in both food and beverage together and build something that could take this category to the next level. And so the focus was on wellness. That's how we came up with the name Weller. We want you to be better than well, your wellest self, if you will. So that's how we got started. And, we built the brand from the ground up and had some great partners on our side to help us develop this. And, I think some of the most exciting stuff is like when we put this brand out there, it just resonated with people and not just, you see a lot of up and coming natural foods and functional beverage products that really focus on, the West Coast and the East Coast, whether it's LA or New York. And they do really well in those categories or in those demographics. Right. And what we found is with this brand Weller that we had created, it's something that just jumped off the shelf at people, and it didn't matter where you were in the country. And I remember one of the early days of introducing our sparkling water product. I think we were like 3 months in, and we were selling it with Lucky's Market. Lucky's still has grocery stores here in Colorado, but at the time they had 35 or 40 locations across the country. And I remember the buyer coming to us one day and saying, "Hey, how many demos are you guys doing at these stores to get these numbers going?" And we said, "Hey, Tim, we have not done a single demo. The product is not on sale." And so, we start going through the numbers with him, and we had averaged about 150 units a week at the Fort Collins Lucky's Market location. And, it was crazy. And for Fort Collins, in respect to Denver and Boulder, it's, I'd say, a little bit more middle America than that the West Coast, East Coast vibe. And so we were really stoked, and we realized it was like the aha moment of, hey, this product really works with all sorts of people, not just the university town, but more rural environments, et cetera. So we've been really blessed and fortunate to have a brand and a customer following that is just right there with us. I mean, it's been awesome to be a part of, like nothing I've ever seen before.
Wow, that's super cool and so interesting. Like you said, people just magnetically gravitated towards it. I mean, the cannabis industry is really well known for being notoriously difficult to get into and participate in. And I know you guys have some THC products now. You started off with the CBD, but what were some of the challenges you've had to overcome? Yes, a little bit. What were some of the challenges that you've had to overcome with this industry specifically?
I think the biggest challenge that we've had to overcome, and more, I don't know if it's overcome it as much as it is be creative and work around it. But both John and I have been in this space and worked with the biggest retailers in the country, for many years. And so, what we found early on, there was a lot of excitement in hemp, especially with our CBD products. And, we're in conversations with everybody about how we're going to roll this out. And then, the government, the FDA didn't really clear the way as everybody had expected them to, based on the legislation that came through in 2018. And so one of the biggest hurdles has been trying to figure out, how do we get products into market at the right retailers and with partners that are willing to work with us? And how do we really make sure that we share that we know what we're doing and we're putting a product on their shelves that can stand any test? And so we put a lot of effort into that, both in the laboratory and making sure that products were stable, that flavors, were consistent through the life of the product. We started working with regional distribution as opposed to the large kind of big player distributors like UNFI and KE and DPI. So, we had a unique opportunity to take the skills that we had in building those relationships and figuring out how to move product from place to place and partner up with dozens of regional distributors that allow us to put market in multiple locations in LA and Colorado, New York, Florida, everywhere. We've got these amazing distribution partners that are kind of like right-hand men and women to us, where, it's totally different ballgame than the large distributors, where it's just a pull game where you got to make sure the retailers move and it goes through. We've got great relationships. So, that's been the biggest challenge and kind of hurdle that we've had to work through, is just reframing our past experience to navigate into this new field.
One of the things we've noticed, Matt, and we're definitely not in the space like you are, but your brand really stands out from a lot of the other brands, and I read somewhere where you were talking about how you all have been focused on brand and taste, and yet it's a whole agenda around wellness. Can you just maybe speak more to that?
Yeah. I think there's two prongs to this, right? So the flavor and the consistency of the product is I am so passionate about that, and trying to figure out how do we make little incremental improvements every time we go through this process, so it just gets better and better and better. Starting off from a really aggressively good place to begin with. We in developing the products, we develop things internally with our team, and then we get help where we need to, with some expert analysis and some science. And so, as we've developed our products, it's just getting as much feedback from trusted sources, and when I say trusted sources, I don't mean just guys that are like, hey, pat on the back, great product, but people that are like, okay, it's missing this spot on the palate. There's X, Y, and Z issue here. I taste a bitterness. I do this, that, and the other. So trying to really get this objective feedback that's honest and forthright so that we can constantly improve. I mean, even in our products, there's multiple flavors that are coming into play, like extract of one type of tangerine to another, and the interplay of those flavor profiles, so that when somebody tastes our product, we want them to be blown away and then feel the effect of CBD or the hemp THC and know that it works and come back again and again. And that's where I think we've derived a lot of success. Now, on the shelf aspect, the second part of that question, we worked with a branding agency called Interact here in Boulder when we developed the products and all of our branding, and just an amazing team of experts who know how the interplay on shelf really comes across to consumers. And we knew that we knew their level of expertise before we got started in this, and we couldn't be happier with how things turned out, because it's a focus on like being fresh, being bold on the shelf, but expressing that wellness journey, that this is a good for you product that you can trust and rely on. Like that's really the core of what we tried to put into these products on the shelf. So especially, and it's so critical in this category of the hemp cannabis space, because there's such juvenile attempts at brand building. I think that's been our experience, and we know that when somebody's buying something that they expect to deliver a wellness property to, they want to have that trust element right away and know that it's smart and that it's well designed and well crafted from the beginning. So it's very critical for us.
Yeah. When you talk about things being well designed, well crafted, how does that come into play in your flavor profiles and how you choose your flavors? How important is that?
Well, we start out with a lot of different flavor combos. I mean, I think we were developing. It was this one is our peach mango. This is our newest flavor that we've released on the CBD side. It's delicious. It's like a tropical vacation. And when we were developing that product, that came out of a list of probably 20 different formulations, like baseline formulations that we had started working on, where everything from cranberry, pineapple, just this lemon lime, like just standard flavors, all the way to exotics. And what we found was, okay, people like this, people like that, and figuring out what flavors go well with the natural characteristics of CBD or THC, because there is flavor element there, but whether it's bitter or sweet, it depends on the compounds we're using, and you got to make sure to work with something. So it's kind of like if there's a flavor profile, you don't want to hammer it with sugar and with other junk to try to cover it up. You want to work with that and sort of integrate it into the profile so that it really works. That's been our thought process and our theories behind this. And we want unique flavors. We want things that people are gonna like this, one of our new THC flavors, the Relax, it's wild blackberry, and it's just got this great juicy summertime blackberry flavor to it that it just evokes that running around in a field in the summertime, picking blackberries off the vine. So,
and I've never done that. I've always loved blackberries, and fuck it. Now I am like, I gotta find a way to run down the field and get blackberries. I just like my goal.
You know what? I have some family that lives in Healdsburg, California, in wine country, and when I was working on this product, the thing that came back into my mind over and over again is I'd go ride bikes out through the vineyards, right, and do a long ride, and there was this one blackberry patch on the side of the road that in August time frame, you drive by there and it'd be covered in like just perfectly ripe blackberries, and I'd always stop and pick some and eat them, like just as you're on the ride. And it's just this sweet energy boost as you're going along. And I like when we were developing these flavors and we're focusing on this juicy sweet blackberry, it was just a really, it just all sort of came together. It was like, oh, this is amazing. So
we got to get our hands on this blackberry because I live in Indianapolis and it's not available here yet. But man, it sounds amazing.
Yeah, it's coming out.
I might be able to get access to it.
Bring it for me when you come next week.
Yeah.
Yes. What about educating buyers? So, obviously, THC, CBD has been around for a long time. There's growing knowledge and education around it. But do you feel like educating your buyer about it is still something that you actively have to do? Or do you feel like most of the people are pretty well, knowledgeable?
It has evolved over the years. I mean, as you said at the beginning, Duncan, we've been at this for 6 years at this point. And so starting in day one, I'll never forget having a few interviews as we were just launching the company and having to explain what CBD is and how it works. And is it going to get me high? Is it going to do this, that, and the other? So, I think we're at a point now where, at least for CBD, there's a pretty broad knowledge base out there because there's been so much chatter about it over the last many years. So the nice thing about it also is that, you look at SPINS data and IRI, syndicated data platforms, and if you pull up the CBD category, you see how well it does and what the velocities look like. So from the retail perspective, it's not the same push that it was at the beginning when there was, when it was 0 to 1. So that's been pretty good. On the THC, hemp-derived THC is a very different ballgame. So, our products, they contain significantly less than 0.3% THC in them, which federally is defined as a hemp product. And, we work with some hemp farmers in Oregon to kind of extract and separate the THC that comes from hemp in order to process it into our beverages. And so that is an education process because somebody sees THC and they think, we can't sell this. It's going to cause all sorts of problems. But, anytime we sell product, anytime we're working with retailers to discuss the opportunity with them, we put all of the information in front of them. Here's where it comes from. Here's the analysis on it. Here's the test results for this batch. Here's where we make it in a legitimate facility, not, in somebody's basement.
My garage.
So, yes, not your garage. Or no, we're not coming out there to make this THC, okay? So that's really what the core is, and we do have to make sure that everybody feels comfortable with it. And so, when we started working with California on our products, with retailers in California, I should say, we went through a really detailed analysis of the legislation that took place in that state, which clearly affirms that you could sell the product that we were producing. And then we explain how and why and who do we talk to at, as a third party to make sure that you feel comfortable with this. So, there is a bit of a leap of faith, and, with some retailers, they do want to be on the cutting edge of what's new and exciting. They don't want to follow. And so for us, it's all about finding those retail partners that are ready to jump in, not just wait until, the big guys start doing it. So
it's fascinating the way you describe that. Really does make one think about where one shops. I wanted to ask about what's social. Like, you guys have a thriving social presence, and is that a fine line? With CBD and THC and all of Meta's overlord activity.
Yeah.
How have you all walked that line?
Very carefully. We take great care in our product design, in our website, in all of our social media posts to make sure that we don't cross a line that somebody else has placed for us, even though that line moves all the time. Right. So, even looking at our can, we do like this, our CBD can, you'll see on here, there's just two facings. There's not a section on here with a big panel about how CBD is going to do X, Y, and Z for you. So, we do try to walk a pretty straight and narrow line on that. On the THC side, it's even a little bit more complicated, but we don't sell products through the platforms, and they've never allowed it, hemp products, at least until recently, to start going down that route. So we've tried to stay in our lane and build a nice following, put out some good content that highlights the credibility of our brand, and try to drive to retail. And that's kind of what our focus is.
Yeah. Super cool. And I think it's really interesting thinking about your product just in general. The THC product, that's 5 milligrams of THC, right?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
It's 5 milligrams in a serving. And what's interesting, when we were developing these products, so I will come out and say this as maybe uncool as it is, but I am not a marijuana smoker, never have. Never intended to. It's not really what I like to do. But when we started developing these beverages using an emulsified THC from hemp, it was a totally different experience than other edible products. And it's a little bit of person to person. So everybody's endocannabinoid system is a little different. That's the system in everybody's body that absorbs and receives, compounds like THC or CBD. But I know when we were developing these products, I was like, okay, we got to really figure out what experience people are looking for and what they really want if we're going to deliver this, and make sure that we can deliver it. So, we tried different edible products because that's what people were comparing it to, like gummies or chocolate products, et cetera. And what's interesting is that the way your body metabolizes those sort of solid food products, like the gummies and chocolate products or other edibles, is that your body, it's still connected to fat molecules or sugar molecules in the substrate of those products. And so your body digests it through the liver, where many people experience there's a chemical conversion, and I'm blanking out on the name that it goes to, but it changes that effect. And now with what we do in this beverage format, when it's emulsified in the water, your body recognizes it as water because the molecule it's like a particle that's got water and the CBD and THC on one side, and then your body picks it up as water and pulls it right in. So you get a quicker acting experience. You get a much lighter experience. It is not like, my experience with the edible products has not been favorable, which is probably why I don't like to
I'm
consume.
right there with you.
Yeah, it's like all of a sudden I was developing products down here one day, and I had a 5 milligram gummy from a friend's company. So it was somebody I trusted and knew what they were doing. But after a while, it just hit me like a ton of bricks, and I just needed to lie down. And that's not a fun experience if you're trying to be productive and still be a functioning member of society. So
totally, it's not. And that was one of the things I was going to mention, is that a lot of the beverages that I see being sold that do have THC in it, it's like 50 milligrams, 100 milligrams. I'm like, no, I want to be able to consume a drink that I can actually enjoy, and it's not going to make me feel ill. So that's one of the things I love about it.
Yeah, exactly. And just the effect of the THC comes on much smoother, and I'll say more gently than these other formats, and it allows you to be in control more. And so I do love that aspect of it. And so, the other thing that we have found is there are a lot of folks that are out there trying to reduce alcohol consumption, but still have the ability to unwind a little bit. Yeah, me too. And this product, we're at 15 calories in a can of the THC product. And, to get a little bit of that relaxation effect along with a great tasting product that isn't going to negatively impact your caloric intake it's the best. Like that's exactly what we want. So I know we just sent down, we had a friend who had a Halloween party down in Austin, where they can sell these products as well. And so, I know they had, a couple hundred cans of our hemp THC beverages down there, and the response was phenomenal. I mean, it's just so many people that were excited to have an alternative, but still feel part of the event, and not be sitting there saying, "Oh, I'm not drinking tonight," or whatever it happens to be. So it's a great stuff. We're excited about that.
I mean, it is a real thing, right? What you just said, where people feel excluded, and I immediately think of Laura Silverman with Zero Proof Nation, who's on a quest to crack every single non-alcohol or low alcohol beverage, out there. And Vanessa, what's the name of Vanessa's company? Or now I can't remember at the moment. We'll think of it here in a second.
Yes, that is Tilden Cocktails.
Yeah, and it's really what you're seeing is a true phenomena that's taking place everywhere, where people, they don't want to be pressured into drinking. They don't want to. They don't want to.
Right.
They don't want to do it midweek. Some people don't want to do it at all, but they want to hold a drink in their hand. And they want it to taste like a drink with the beginning, a middle, and an end, and they want to feel good.
Right. Yeah, it's the ritual of this that is so important, I think, in allowing people the wellness opportunity of having a drink in their hand, but not feeling like they have to partake in everything else. So that's kind of, it's what I like about what our products are doing, is that, our brand Weller was intended to help you be your wellest self, right? So that's why this works so well together. It's day to day with CBD. It's that relax function with the THC products. It's a great combo.
I mean, I'll say I love that. Be your wellest self. Now let me turn the tables a little bit, Matt. Like, what are you doing beyond drinking your own amazing product? What are you doing to for yourself? I mean, you're a founder. You got a tremendously successful life. You got to lead and inspire people. How do you stay on track with yourself?
Boy, that's a great question. It's not easy, but I mean, I think I love it when I hear, I had a mentor who was a big Silicon Valley tech CEO back in California. And I remember asking him a similar question at one point. And he said to me, you got to sleep 8 hours a night. You got to, have an hour and a half each day of just thinking time. And you got to eat well and exercise. I was like, okay, great. And at that time, I had like a 1-year-old daughter. I had another one on the way. Starting founding a company, and it's so difficult to stand by those. But I think what my experience has been in the last couple of years, or especially with the turbulence that we've all seen through COVID, through the economy changing, the dynamic changes, it feels like every day. But I think the core of this is to try to stay grounded and know that this is a marathon. We need to stay on pace and not get wound up by every little thing that comes our way. Because, you have to in some ways shift, right? It's like, I'm in work mode right now. I'm solving these problems. I'm going to tackle as much as possible today. But then that day has to end, and I need to be a present father and go pick up the kids from school and do the things that are most meaningful to me. So that's, aside from what we try to do and eating healthy, getting plenty of exercise, I mean, I think that's like our company culture is a lot of that, of like, let's, everybody stays healthy and active as much as we possibly can. And we're selling, natural products, and we all live that sort of ethos. But I really do feel like, thinking about it, like as a founder, as a startup entrepreneur, this is my second time at this, right? And experienced the good, the bad, and the ugly. And not to say that I'm, it ever changes, because those are the good, the bad, and the ugly are always there. And so as soon as you recognize that that's going to be the case, and you don't actively exacerbate any one of those, except the good, then, that's how you can, if you keep that perspective that, things are going to continue to happen. We're going to solve them to the best of our abilities, and don't put anybody at risk that doesn't need to be at risk, and then carry on. Keep focusing, one foot in front of the other.
That's I just want to say that's a beautiful way to think about it. The good, the bad, and the ugly. I mean, I want to like whistle right now, and I'm seeing images of Clint Eastwood. It doesn't end, right? It's like, it's going to be there tomorrow.
Yeah.
You got this
Yes.
HR challenge, you got a cash flow problem, or you got like a distributor saying some unreasonable bullshit, or, whatever it is, you're going to have that just on a day-to-day basis. And, Matt's got to go home and hang out and relax and watch a show and eat some food. And, otherwise you can't do it tomorrow. So,
yeah. I mean, I think the other side of this is trying to do everything we can to let other people let their light shine too, as we build a company, both as, calling out the people that have helped us along the way, giving credit to everybody around that's a part of the team and what we're doing. Because look, I think those are the things that are super critical in making sure that things, that there's a collective team movement growing this thing.
Great answer.
Yeah. What about some exciting things that are coming up? Anything coming up on the horizon that you want to make sure people know about or get excited for?
Yeah. So we are, Sprouts Farmers Market has been one of our top retailers since 2019 when we first started selling with them. And it was started out small, regional here in Colorado, and then has grown out to about half their stores, all the stores that are in states that have really affirmative CBD stances. So we do have, let's see, I've got some of these here. We've got this new drink mix product that's coming out. It's launching in the Sprouts Farmers Market stores in December, which is great, in a canister. So, it's kind of a nice CBD on the go product that we had actually initially developed that for the food service space, working with some coffee chains that we work with. But it's nice to see that kind of roll out into a nice grocery platform. We've got, more exciting stuff coming on the THC front, in hemp THC, and, to see more and more traction on that front picking up is exciting. I mean, just the velocities that we're starting to see organically on that product too. It's great stuff. So, we're trying to be experts in the things that we do. We don't just put out a whole bunch of, extra products out there that aren't going to move the needle. So, hopefully what you're going to get excited about is seeing great displays in major retailers about, with our CBD products. I am also, I should say this, I'm optimistic, that despite some of the federal government inaction that's happened over the years, that there is momentum building right now for hemp products to get the clarity that they need. And with multiple pieces of legislation in Congress and the new Farm Bill, as soon as they can get that passed, we are anticipating some positive changes there. So those are the things that they're not insignificant at all, and they will make a huge impact to what we can do and bring this amazing product to more and more people across the country.
Yeah. Speaking of bringing more the product to people across country, where can people find your products?
So of course at welleru.com, that's YOU.com. You can get all of our products there. Also, we're at Sprouts Farmers Market, at Wegmans back east, Fresh Time Market in the Midwest, and a whole lot of regional folks in Austin, in Dallas, Los Angeles, Northern California, the Berkeley Bowl in Northern California. So there's a lot of great retailers. It's Natural Foods 101, going after those great partners that are looking for the new stuff. It's great.
You know what's really interesting, Matt? Thank you for telling us that. But what's really interesting about the Fresh Time piece is I'm a Fresh Time shopper, and not only do you and Jamba have proximity in Boulder, but you, Rowdy Mermaid and Weller, aren't very far at Fresh Time. So
it's true.
Yeah. And it's
I love the Rowdy Mermaid brand. I got a fridge full of it right now. It's our kombucha of choice around here.
And the good soda, the good soda is really good, you know. And a shout out to Almadan. He's a great guy that we all know. So wonderful and a deeply philosophical and handsome and fun man. So there's the endorsement for today. But
man, I hope I get that on the next podcast.
Yes, you know. But what's interesting is it's rare to see Rowdy Mermaid have any discounts at Fresh Time because it moves off the shelves, and Weller is never discounted. So,
we try to manage that. I mean, it's always interesting to see, you know, promotional strategies. We did a case study with one of our retailers and just watched the velocities to make sure we got the partnership right. So, you know, when you're building a brand, you want to incentivize people to buy product, right? Especially in a new market where they don't know it. And so, you know, the core of what all of us are looking at is when we do a promotion, you want that sales to spike, but then settle out at a higher level so that when you spike it again with another promotion, now it's up here. And so, you know, I think that's one of the things as an entrepreneur, you get excited about putting something on sale and seeing it move. But if the fundamentals aren't there to get people to come back and buy it again at full price, then you got a problem on your hands. And, you know, I've talked to many people about this exact chart, you know, like what you really need to make sure you're seeing on there. If you're not seeing that, you need to do something different because it's not capturing the minds of and the shopping cart of your customers. So
it's super interesting, though. Arnell and I were just talking about this, about how, you know, you're in the category. It's a beverage, right? Then it's a better for you brand. What is amazing is that it tastes really good. You know, the watermelon is one that, you know, we have at our house, and it tastes really good. Oh, by the way, it's really good for you too, and it's going to make you feel better. So it's like, it's interesting because even though some of those more esoteric, you know, maybe not as accessible to some people benefits are the top benefits, and you should buy it for that. But you're getting in on taste, which I think some brands are missing that boat. It just doesn't taste that good.
Oh yeah.
And like this is a very well-known kombucha that has a shape in its name, and I don't think so many people like the actual taste. It's like it's getting by on all the benefits, but it don't taste so good. As my friend from says, it don't taste so good.
I think that taste is the key. I mean, I'm passionate about that. It's what customers are going to come back time and time again for. And if you don't nail it on the first time, unless there's some really esoteric functional benefit that you just have to taste bad to get, I don't know any of those. You gotta be able to work with it and make sure it tastes good, have a good experience. So,
well, Matt, thank you so much for doing what you do. You know, I mean, we make it
thanks.
We select our guests carefully and then pray that they accept. And so, but, you know, thank you for being such a great leader and for making the world a better place. You know, it's like, as a leader, I'm sure you have to thank other people and you've got to motivate your team, but just please accept our humble thanks that, you know, for making the world a better place and also for coming on. So
you're welcome. And thank you both very much for having me. So always fun to talk about the journey here.
Arnell's got a farewell message for us. We'll turn it over to Arnell.
Yes. This episode is brought to you today by Firebelly Marketing. At Firebelly, we help mission-based food and beverage brands bring people closer through social media marketing. So if you're ready to use social media to create more community and excitement around your food and beverage brand, go to firebellymarketing.com to learn more.
Thank you so much to Matt for coming on the show today. We wish you the best of luck, and everyone go check it out.
Thank you, guys.
Another episode of the Firebelly Social Show where we feature founders of mission-driven food and beverage brands. And this has been an amazing episode. And thank you for listening. We'll see you on the next one.
Thanks for listening to the Firebelly Social Show. We'll see you again next time, and be sure to click subscribe to get future episodes.